Chelmsford. The 14 is Eric Gledhill, starting 8th. Another driver we're not used to seeing on the dirt from Mount Bridges. The 5P is Cole Powell. In our final row from Brampton, Ontario, the 70mm is Dave McKnight Jr. and the 69K out of Brantford is Jason Dixon. Green flag flies there off down the front straightaway into turn number 1.
Off they go, and troubles for DJ Christie. Very slow on the start as he'll drop back to the back of the pack. Looks like he's got power now under the 5 machine.
That's Cole Powell.
Oh, sorry.
And we talked about it yesterday. You said to go fast in a dirt car, you've got to forget everything you think you know about race car driving. You have to keep the throttle down to make the car turn. He's going to figure it out, but it is a steep learning curve, just as Dave McKnight, the driver of the 70mm.
Out in front, the Iceman, Johnny Miller, leads the way. And a couple of weeks ago, he found himself all bound up and wrecked down in corner number 4, but he's back to where he likes to run, and this kid has been good since joining the Great Sprint Car Division this year.
4 cars will transfer out of this qualifying heat. Right now, Jacob Dykstra in that final transfer spot, just behind John Verney in the 26, Stephen Beckett, one of the drivers, if I'm not mistaken, who has qualified for every A-main this year, and it is a short list, Greg Callan, but he is on it.
Johnny Miller, Matt Farnham up there in second, John Verney running in third. Here comes Jacob Dykstra, gets a good run off the second corner as Verney a little high in 2. They'll go side by side in 3.
Verney closes the door down into 3. He'll lead them off of 4. Jacob Dykstra right behind him. They've got that advantage back to Stephen Beckett in the 08.
Dykstra will get by Verney at the line. Johnny Miller leads, but here comes Matt Farnham. He has closed the gap quickly as he's just about 3 or 4 car lengths back off the back part of the 20 of Johnny Miller. Down, trying to get to the inside of Cole Powell in 4.
And Powell up to the outside of the racetrack, trying to stay out of the way, doing the sportsmanlike thing in that 5D machine. White flag, one more lap. John Verney's about to have company from Stephen Beckett. Ryan Litt doing a nice job in his debut in the Action Sprint Tour in the 4B. He's battling with Dave McKnight, but the win's going to go to Johnny Miller. Matt Farnham comes home second. Third to Jacob Dykstra, and John Verney makes the A-main direct out of his qualifying heat.
Yeah, good run for John Verney there to get inside into a transfer position. You talked about how many drivers this year had qualified for every A-main. We're still at 4. Stephen Beckett, Lucas Smith, Brad Herron, and Rob Neely were all those drivers that have made all the A-mains. In our regular Friday night racing, this is an Action Sprint Tour event tonight. I don't believe there's any points on the line for the Strickland Brantford Chevrolet Crate Sprint Car Division. I could be wrong. Sprint Tour. 9 cars, 8 laps, top 4 to transfer. Kyle McKenzie looks the field over, coming to corner 4. Green is out, and Brad Herron will lead the pack down into corner number 1.
Herron with a good launch down into the first turn. Davey Boughton sliding up the racetrack a little bit. He'll drag race for that 4th position down the backstretch with Rob Neely in the 74.
Herron, Nanakoke, and Ward, your top 3. Davey Boughton making his first appearance of the 2019 season out here tonight.
Davey Boughton with the stable.ca, load covering trailers. Jake Sprint Car News sponsoring his efforts, and a big shout out to Josh and Matt Hill for the parts.
Rob Neely, slips to the inside of Tyler Ward off of corner number 2. Brian Anacoke will go around the outside of the 29W. And here comes the 88H of Josh Hansen following suit.
What a battle here outside of the top 2, because right now Brad Herron and Rob Neely in a great position to transfer. Brian Nanakoke in the 9C, Josh Hansen in the final 2 transfer spots, but they've got not a whole lot of breathing room. Back to Tyler Ward in the 29W and the 50 of Adrian Staley.
Herron and Neely, 1 and 2. 2 of those drivers we talked about that have made every A-main here on Friday nights. They're out in front comfortably in transfer spots. Josh Hansen runs regularly in our 360 division, but competes with the Action Sprint Tour. Now, normally, on a Friday night, you cannot compete in both divisions. But tonight, because this is a special event and it's an Action Sprint Tour event, he is able to compete.
Well, and they've supported both series and both divisions, so I think that's a pretty understandable ruling by the racetrack. Brian Nanicoke in the 9C gets a little out of shape coming off of turn 2. Tyler Ward going to try to close in. White flag is out one more time around for Brad Herron in that number 12 machine out front.
Down the backstretch and into corner 3 for the final time. Brad Herron sets Hill off of 4. He'll see the checkered flag right behind him, though. Rod Neely had to hold off Josh Hansen for second. Coming home fourth will be Brian Nanicoke. So they will go to the A main. Brad Herron spins up in corner number 2. And some evasive action needed to be taken by a few of the drivers as the winner of the race spun down in corner number 2. Everyone gets by. So Brad Herron will transfer along with Rob Neely, Brian Nanicoke, Josh Hansen. Hansen finishing third ahead of Nanicoke. Those 4 move on. The others will go to the
Burger Barn entry out of Hamilton. It's Derek Lemaire.
Coming to the green flag here in the third qualifying heat. Liam Martin, he's got to win the Action Sprint Tour this year, and here he is grabbing the lead over Alan Downey down in corner number 2.
Alan Downey with a bad push between 1 and 2 in that 19 machine. He'll stay to the bottom of the racetrack in second, but Liam Martin going to lead lap number 1 in that 29. DJ Christie running a higher line in that 5 machine as Derek Lemaire with all sorts of problems in 1 and 2. He'll go up the hill in turn 1, and he will lose a lot of valuable ground to the rest of the field. Right now, the driver in 4th. That's Noel Teal in the 14T. Doing a nice job out there in the final transfer spot.
Nick Sheridan right behind her, and this kid's been impressive. We talked plenty about him here in 2019. And that number 45 machine, he's just on the outside looking in, making a charge behind him. A good fight with Paul Clagger going at him, with Travis Hofstetter, and the 55 from Quebec, Brian Cloutier.
Alan Downey not giving up much ground to Liam Martin in that 29 machine. And a battle for 3rd and 4th between DJ Christie in the 5 and the 45 of Nick Sheridan.
Off of corner 4, Liam Martin will cross the stripe and complete lap number 5. 3 laps left to go here in this qualifying heat. Martin, Downey, Christie, and Nick Sheridan right now your top 4. Paul Clagger trying to gain ground now. He's done some work to get up there in contention.
I'll tell you what, after starting all the way at the back of the field, Paul Clagger at least going to try to get himself a good starting position in his B main to get into tonight's show.
White flag goes up in the air for Liam Martin, driver out of Binbrook, Ontario. Shasta Brothers Float Service, number 29, works it off of corner number 2 as a win here on Friday nights in the Strickland division. 1 win with the Action Sprint Tour as well. Checkers out, Liam Martin will pick up the heat race win. Alan Downey second, DJ Christie third, and at the line, Paul Clagger gets by Nick Sheridan, who, Adam, I think, had problems in that final corner.
I don't know if he ran out of fuel or what happened to that 45 machine. Definitely came up slow. Now he'll be the one with a good starting spot in the B main, but Paul Clagger punches his ticket into tonight's A feature.
Three in the books, still 2 to go for the Action Sprint Tour.
Five heats.
Impressive indeed. And we're about to go green off of turn 4. Galetta on the inside. Spencer Davis in that NREM Dynamics. Number 83 will start on the outside of row 1. And they are coming to green in a slow, slow pace.
And off they go into corner number 1. Spencer Davis trying to work the outside line around Alan Galetta. 3 cars stacked up behind them.
3 wide into turn number 3. With Hannah Farrell making a bold move to the middle of the racetrack.
Galetta out in front for Spencer Davis, Jordan Hill, and the Hurricane Hannah Farrell, who was in competition in the 360 division last night in her own car.
And she went from 8th. Oh, trouble off of turn 4 for Galetta, and he is going to put it up on its wing. That'll bring a red flag. And that was a fairly gentle rollover for Galetta. I believe it's going to on its wheels. And now once they get it to that tipping point, now all of their energy is spent in letting it down as slowly as they possibly can.
So Galetta will get pushed off, and we'll get the remainder of the field pushed back underway here to conclude this heat race number 4.
Hunsinger in the 52 and Bailey Hurd in the 70. It's been a tough couple of weeks for Bailey Hurd. I want to say he missed the feature in the previous Friday's event.
Yes, he did, but back at it here and trying to get up into one of those top 4 qualifying spots as Jordan Hill pulls away from the pack. He leaves Spencer Davis and Hannah Farrell behind him.
Farrell to the inside of Spencer Davis down into 3 and 4. They'll race side by side down the front straightaway.
In the corner 1 they go. Jordan Hill leading the way. The man who works this track through the week and preps it has done a nice job since taking over the reins, or taking those reins back, I should say. He leads the way over Hannah Farrell, Spencer Davis, and the battle for 4th is really heating up, Adam.
Yeah, it just got pretty hectic back there for 3rd and 4th. Spencer Davis still in the 3rd spot. Now Connor Mahoney up to 4th. Ryan Hunsinger to 5th. Bailey Hurd still a few car lengths back of that battle, but Hunsinger going to go to work on Connor Mahoney, trying to take over that 4th position on the front straightaway down into 1. Hunsinger with position on the bottom, and he throws that car into turn 1. He'll take over 4th and 3rd with the same move.
Nice move there by the gunslinger Ryan Hunsinger. There's 2 laps to go for your leader, Jordan Hill, over Hannah Farrell. Long distance back to Ryan Hunsinger, who is now 3rd. Here comes Connor Mahoney to the inside. He'll take 4th away from Spencer Davis.
Nice move for Connor Mahoney as they are heading to the white flag hill, about to have company from Hannah Farrell in that Lucas Oil Oakwood Transport number 4 as they and we are under yellow. I guess that sprint car sitting sideways on the back straightaway would explain that.
Guys, I just want to talk quickly about the top wing angle on Jordan Hill's car. We seen it very flat the last time he won, and he's got that same type of angle in it tonight.
Spots at the moment are the 83 of Spencer Davis, the 70 of Bailey Hurd.
Set to come back to the green flag, single file past the orange cone here on the front stretch. You cannot pass or gain position or go below that cone or even hit the cone, otherwise you'll be docked 2 positions. Everyone clean and green past that cone, and we are back at it. Right now, Connor Mahoney holds down that final transfer spot, and he's got a fight going on behind him between Spencer Davis and Bailey Hurd.
Coming to the checkered flag, it's going to be Hill over Hannah Farrell, Ryan Hunsinger, Connor Mahoney, and then it's Davis, Hurd, and Hill rounding out the field.
So that will conclude the 4th qualifying heat for the Action Sprint Tour. I want to make mention down at the Inside Track Motorsport News booth, I've been told that MAV TV has a prize pack they'll be giving away here tonight. No cost to enter, but you can go down there, say hi to Greg and Lindsay, and they can get you signed up for the MAV TV prize pack down at the Inside Track Motorsport News booth. While you're there, you can subscribe to Canada's National Motorsports magazine down there right behind the announce tower. And don't forget to get call it. Number 52 rolling down the backstretch.
Looks like orange to me, Greg. Fixing to go green in our final crate sprint car heat of the night.
And trouble's off the start for Derek Miller. Does not go. Now he goes, but he's already at the back.
That was odd. Blaine Barrow caught a break there. He was pointed directly to the sky coming down the front straightaway. Right now he's in the 4th position, though battling for 3rd.
Stay green and clean on that first lap. Once we had that little hiccup at the start. At the front, Jerry Hill leads the way. He's got Lucas Smith in tow, Blaine Barrow, and Brandon Burrell right now your top 4 as a complete 360 by Darren Dryden on the backstretch. He continues on.
Top 4 of a bit of a gap back to Jesse Costa and Jesse McDonald, but they are coming in a hurry. Brandon Burrell has to check up to avoid Blaine Barrow. That's going to cost him the 4th spot to Jesse Costa, and Costa's not done yet.
Costa will now work on the 3rd spot. He'll fly by Blaine Barrow, set his sights on the top 2. Now it's Brandon Burrell and Jesse McDonald going at it behind the top 4. McDonald slides into the 5th spot as they work it off a corner 2, but Merle comes back at the bottom.
Merle doing a nice job. A crossover move as Lucas Smith in the 2nd spot. No, Lucas Smith leading the way. Is that, what am I watching? Jerry Hill.
Jerry Hill leading the way.
I think I just had a moment there, Greg. The lights went out for a minute in my mind. Jerry Hill leading the way over Lucas Smith. Jesse Costa running in the 3rd spot. 4th, Blaine Barrow after an exciting opening lap.
Jerry Hill and that Bickles Hardware, number 49 each, leads them through 3 and 4, this time by 2 laps left to go across the stripe. Lucas Smith back there in position number 2. Jesse Costa running in 3rd, and Blaine Barrow holding his own in the top 4. Jesse McDonald right now, he is on the outside looking in and trying to catch Blaine Barrow, but not having much luck.
No, and he is running out of time here with the white flag flying. Jerry Hill having a great heat race here. Lucas Smith, Jesse Costa, your top 3, and Blaine Barrow with a half straightaway advantage over Jesse McDonald in the 88. McDonald's got to worry about losing the 5th spot to Brandon Merle.
Checkers out. Jerry Hill picks up the win over Lucas Smith, Jesse Costa, Blaine Barrow. They punch their tickets into the A main for Jesse McDonald, Brandon Merle, Trevor Young, Derek Miller, and Darren Dryden will all go to tonight's B main, or one of the B mains tonight. So we get set and ready now for the
8th from Ashweek, and the 38 is Derek Miller. And rounding out the field from Mount Bridges, Ontario, the 5P is Cole Powell. Unofficially, Greg, 2 cars transfer from this B main into tonight's A feature event.
Well, then business is going to pick up in a hurry then, isn't it, as we get under the green flag, and Trevor Young got a little sideways off of 4, gathers it up, and he is running in that 3rd spot, 1 around up on the high side, Noel Teal, and now Derek Miller collected, and he will come to a complete stop, bringing out the caution.
And that becomes interesting. Who brought out the yellow, Noel Teal for spinning or Derek Miller for coming to a stop? May not sound like much, but does Noel Teal get her spot back, who was scheduled to start 4th, or does she go to the back of the pack, Greg?
So Jesse McDonald leading the way, as we'll get to see a replay here of Noel Teal spinning around.
Man, that car came to a complete stop and actually bump started itself. You saw those back tires lock up. That means the engine is not running. But with her momentum, she was able to keep on going. We got a view from the front stretch and now a view from the back stretch. So I believe we are only going to see sprint car B mains. It'll be crate sprints, and then it'll be 360 sprints. I don't believe we'll be running any B mains for the Thunder cars or for the Race of Champions sportsman cars, Greg.
Correct. Sportsmen all will qualify. 24 cars in attendance here tonight as we get back to the green flag. Jesse McDonald, John Verney, Terry Baker back there in the 2nd spot.
Yeah, both those drivers, Terry Baker and John Verney, teammates, run identical paint schemes, but this is Terry Baker as John Verney has already qualified, and Baker with an aggressive move to the inside of Jesse McDonald for the lead.
right. Baker leads over McDonald, and it's Young and Cloutier right behind him. Derek Lemaire stuck deep in this one.
Wow, Trevor Young really having problems with forward bite in that 51. He just can't put the throttle down and keep the car straight. That back end wanting to kick around on the Trevor Young 51 machine.
Major league lap number 2. 8 laps left to go in this first B main of 3 for the Action Sprint Tour. Derek Lemaire trying to make forward progress. He works to the inside of Trevor Young, looking for that 4th position.
Derek Lemaire completing that pass in turn number 4 as this track has become wide and very, very slick. And that's a great thing, Greg. That bodes well for the race fans and attendance. It'll put on a great show. Challenging for a driver to drive a race car competitively when you drive it into the corner and you're not sure where your car's going to land after it takes a bite.
One of those nights where you need your dancing shoes on because you're going to be working the pedals as Cloutier now works to the inside of Jesse McDonald. That's a big pass.
That is a big pass for Cloutier in the 55. Puts him into a transfer spot as we reach the halfway point of this B main event for the Crate Sprints. Cole Powell's starting to get the hang of things out there in the 5P machine, learning that he's got to get a little harder on the throttle, but it's ironic. As the track gets slicker, it forces him to slide that car a little bit more. And I don't want to say learn how to race it, but that's exactly what he's doing. He is a very talented asphalt racer.
Terry Baker doing a very nice job here in this B main as he continues to lead. He's out in front with 3 laps left to go. One of his better runs of 2019.
Doing a great job right now. Works up on the back end of Noel Teal in the 14. We talk about this quite often, Greg, but there are no rear view mirrors. These drivers have no radio communication from their crews like you would in racing you might watch on a Sunday afternoon on TV. It's all seat of the pants feel, and you've got to assume there's someone right behind you just about all the time.
Time by, it'll be the white flag for Terry Baker as he leads second place. Cloutier is a long ways back, but a straight away behind in the 55, and then he's got a good cushion over Derek Lemaire, who's moved up to 3rd.
One more time around, Lemaire in 3rd, not in a position to challenge Cloutier. Jesse McDonald losing ground. Terry Baker going to take the checkers in this one. Second place to Cloutier. 3rd to Derek Lemaire, 4th to Jesse McDonald, rounding out the top 5. It looks like it's going to be Josh Hill in the 69.
Terry Baker and Brian Cloutier will advance onto the A main.
Travis Hofstetter in the 2, Darren Dryden in the 43, and rounding out the field, it's Matthew Hill in the MK8. Remember, the top 2, the only 2 to transfer, they've got to finish in the top 2. And both of these following 10-lap B-main events.
Back live here at Oswego Speedway with B-main number 2 for the Action Sprint Tour, just taking the green flag. They're already 3 wide behind race leader Nick Sheridan.
Man, there's some heavy hitters in this one as well in the Crate Sprint division. Remember, Stephen Beckett is qualified for every feature race this season, one of only 4 drivers to be able to say that. And right now, he is 1 spot outside of a transfer position, racing in that 3rd spot.
Hot off his first career Crate Sprint car win down at the Humberstone Speedway with this very same Action Sprint Tour. The most recent winner right now doesn't have a ticket into the A-main.
Brandon Merle racing side by side with Nick Sheridan for the top spot. They'll go down into 1 and 2. Merle running the bottom of the racetrack. Nick Sheridan up there near the cushion of the track on the outside groove.
Merle, Sheridan, and Beckett, your top 3, and they've broken away from Eric Ledhill, who is a good straightaway back in the 4th position. Good bit of racing back there deep in the pack, but it's all up in front. 3 cars looking for 2 positions.
And you can see Nick Sheridan has adjusted his line. He has moved to the bottom of the racetrack, didn't like what he felt up on the outside. He's in a transfer spot running in 2nd, so can he hold off Stephen Beckett for the duration of this B-main? Still 6 laps to go.
Pedaling that inside line are all of these drivers until you get back in about the 5th spot, 4th, 5th. Eric Ledhill right now, and Shane Stickle using the outside line.
Halfway through, 5 laps down, 5 laps left as Brandon Merle starting to pull away from the 45 and Nick Sheridan's got about 15 car lengths, nearly half a straightaway over second place, and now Stephen Beckett falling back a little bit. So a big gap between all 3 of our top 3 runners.
Brandon Merle having a nice run here in that number 19 makes the tow down here to Oswego Speedway from Gore's Landing, the other side of Toronto. So when he does come here, makes quite a tow on Friday nights to be with us, and he is out in front in that Mayhew Graphics number 19.
Well, and that's what makes this sort of event so great, Greg, is with the number of campers in attendance, make the drive once, spend a few days here at the racetrack and enjoy yourself with family and friends. There are a lot of people that have made the trip to Ohsweken Speedway for the Northern Summer Nationals.
Nick Sheridan still holding down second, and Stephen Beckett has tried but is losing ground to the second place driver. That is not what Stephen Beckett wants to see, as he is he's so close but yet so far from the A-main.
White flag is out, one more lap for these race leaders. Not a lot of traffic for the race leader. In fact, no traffic for Brandon Merle.
Coming out, and Merle will pick up the win, second at the line. Nick Sheridan, Stephen Beckett will cross the line in third. He was 6th place in points coming into tonight, so not transferring big for Stephen Beckett. Eric Ledhill will cross the line in the 4th spot. 5th will go to Darren Dryden. 6th, Shane Stickle. 7th, Travis Hofstetter. And 8th will go to Dave McKnight. So
racing is the most humbling of sports, Greg. You can be on top of them. Jason Dixon in the 69K, Alan Galetta in the 22 Junior, scheduled to start 7th, and rounding out the field from Carlisle, the 1C, is Davey Boughton. Field bunches up tight through turn number 4. Bailey Hurd bringing him to the green. They'll get on the throttle with the green flag out, down into turn number 1. Bailey Hurd down on the bottom, and you can see immediately the back end wanting to step out as he gets into the throttle, but he's going to lead him into turn 3.
Tyler Ward holds down second, but here comes Adrian Staley on the outside line. He'll take the spot away on the other rim there, getting by Ward as they go down into corner number 1. Staley now sets his sights on leader Bailey Hurd.
And I love the line Ryan Litt's using. He's in the 4th spot in that white, black, and orange number 4B, running right around the bottom. And as I say that, he drifts up the track just a little bit, but he was getting those left side tires down into the muck on the very inside of the racetrack, where there's a little bit more grip still left in the clay, but you've got to have a lot of discipline to run down there, as we've got a yellow flag out for a car stopped in turn 4. That's Davey Boughton.
Yep, Davey Boughton coming to a stop there, and we'll get him back pushed off underway here in this B main with Bailey Hurd leading the way over Adrian Staley. Those are the 2 in the transfer positions. Tyler Ward back there in 3rd. Ryan Litt, not his first time on dirt, but he doesn't have a ton of experience on this surface.
Well, guys, Davey Boughton told me earlier today he had not fired the car till he arrived at the pit area today. They needed to push it off early and check everything out. So probably some early season gremlins, even though we're mid-season for us. First night out for Davey Boughton. You also notice Jake's racing news on the sides. That Jake Langlois, who we talked about, is trying to push the crate sprints in Quebec. Jake reached out to me online and Davey after the Canadian Sprint Car National last year, when Davey gave a great interview about being a low buck team. And Jake said, whatever parts I got that I don't need, you're welcome to have. And I think a lot of those parts came from Quebec to get Davey Boughton back out there, all because of a live stream interview he did with us last September.
Yeah, that's news. I've heard a lot of talk, and good talk, about the crate sprint cars. When we travel away to different tracks, Clint, you and I and Adam get to go to different tracks, and a lot of people want to talk about the crate sprint cars, and I know a lot of folks down in the east and eastern Ontario would love to see these cars there.
Well, they've been very successful. I mean, we started, 7 years ago with 5 cars, and tonight we have our biggest car count ever with 46, 3 B mains, 5 qualifying heats. I don't think Glenn and the team could have ever thought it would grow so fast, so big. so huge.
Action Sprint Tour Final B main will come back to the green flag momentarily. A reminder, don't forget, we are back here on MAV TV Canada with All North Racing powered by Pinty's on Friday, August the 30th. And then our final of the 6 race broadcasts here at Ohsweken Speedway will come on Saturday, September the 14th with the 15th Annual Canadian Sprint Car Nationals, our crown jewel event. Back to the green flag, Kyle McKenzie will let the field go loose, and Bailey Hurd will lead the pass when they start counting down to the corner 1. Staley working the outside line as they work off of corner number 2. The top 2 will break away from the rest of the pack. Tyler Ward now has some pressure from Spencer Davis, and Ryan Litt had to jump out of line there and get around Spencer Davis. Can't make that line work though, and Davis will stay in position 4. Out in front, Bailey Hurd stretching his advantage over Adrian Staley in second. Tyler Ward, another solid performance here tonight, doing a nice job. And for those that have watched since the beginning of the season of this 29W, took him a bit to get that car underneath of him, but he has really got a hold of these great sprint cars. And he's on the outside of a transfer spot right now, but always good to see those drivers that progress and get better every week, and Tyler Ward doing that right now. Cross flags are out. We're halfway home in this final B main, the Action Sprint Tour. Bailey Hurd strengthening his lead over Adrian Staley, who has a very nice cushion now. Over third place, Spencer Davis, who's continuing to race back and forth with Ryan Litt. Litt right behind the 8-3 going down into corner number 1. Davis up high now. Litt will sneak by and he'll grab the third spot. Across the stripe, lap 7 up on the board for Bailey Hurd over Adrian Staley. The battle for third continues to wage on. It'll all be for naught if those 2 drivers can't catch Adrian Staley in the 50 machine up there in position number 2. 2 laps left to go. The drive for Pro Battery Shops, number 70, of Bailey Hurd. Adrian Staley second, and back and forth they continue to go. Spencer Davis and Ryan Litt. Davis slides it in hard in corner 1, goes way up the banking, and this time he'll make it work. Litt fighting back for that third spot with the white flag out for your leader, Bailey Hurd. Continuing to watch Spencer Davis and Ryan Litt go at it for that third spot, but nonetheless, the winner of the B main works through 3 and off of corner 4. Bailey Hurd will pick up the win. He'll punch his ticket into the A main, and following him will be Adrian Staley in car number 50. So those will be the final 2 cars to transfer into tonight's Action Sprint Tour A main event. I like how you threw it to me and made it my problem.
46, guys, 46.
Thank you, Clinton. Knew we could count on you. Green out of 4, race fans. Johnny Miller and Jesse Costa bring them off at turn number 4. Double green flags in the air from Kyle McKenzie. We are underway.
Johnny Miller, the Iceman, leads the pack. Here comes Jesse Costa, though, working the outside line. He is going to go side by side with Jerry Hill down into corner 3.
Impressive start by Hannah Farrell, the Hurricane, in that white and red Oakwood Transport Lucas Oil sponsored machine. Matt Barnum just got around her for the 4 spots, but she got really a nice run through 1 and 2 that first time around.
Down the hill comes Jesse Costa as he's cleared 3rd and 4th, and now is trying to work the outside line on Johnny Miller. You wonder if Jesse Costa watched some of those B mains and saw how good the top side is.
You've got to think that he did, and I mean, this is such a different racing surface than these drivers are used to. Trouble up in 1 and 2. DJ Christie goes around. Rob Neely squares him up, spins him around the other direction. Alan Downey has to take some evasive action. So let's have a look at this radio shuttle number 74 of Rob Neely as he comes down the front stretch. There you see DJ Christie parked sideways in 1 and 2. Neely's car looks to be all right. I'm not sure if it still has a front bumper on it, but it did its job.
See, Safety crew on the scene there. DJ Christie taking the steering wheel off, and looks like he ready to get out of that car, front end all askew on that one. Jesse Costa will chapter of the fan club down there in the great state of Arizona.
They really like the Iceman in Arizona. Go figure.
Matt Farnham right there in third. Jerry Hill having a very solid night from start to finish. He's up there in fourth. And it's Hannah Farrell there in the fifth spot. Green flag back in the air.
Leah Martin got up over the right rear. A little bit of Brad Heron. That's a battle deep in the top 10. I think it's a battle for the 6th spot. Out in front, Jesse Costa to the outside in that 52. Here goes Matt Farnham to the inside in the 7 machine.
Oh, Lucas Smith is broken on the left front in that car. He'll come to a stop at the high side of 3. Got pinched into the wall. And that was just a bad lap for Lucas Smith because he had some contact down here on the front stretch as well. Now the driver, the Massage Pro number 49L, will come to a stop on the high side of 3. So he's got the steering wheel off, and that left front crumpled over, and by the looks of it, the right side's not much better.
One of our drivers who's qualified for every A feature this season. There's only 3 of them now. It's hard to be upset in that situation because they don't know that you're coming. But we watched Scott Kruder early this season absolutely destroy a car in a similar situation.
74 Neely's not a bad guess, Adam. The nose wing is askew on that car. It is possibly the culprit.
Back to the green flag as Jesse Costa leads Matt Farnham into corner 1, but Farnham working the bottom side, trying to get a good launch off of 2. No, Costa rockets off the top spot.
Hannah Farrell again with a good launch through 1 and 2. She'll move up to that 3rd position. But what a battle at the front. Jesse Costa and Matt Farnham, a couple of very capable race car drivers, duking it out at the front of the field. Look at how straight Jesse Costa goes into the corner. He doesn't pitch the car in like you often see. He drives it in front end first. That's a crazy line that he's running.
Costa, your leader on lap number 5 with 15 laps left to go in this one. The action sprint tour as they work you down the back stretch. Jesse Costa, Matt Farnham breaking away from 3rd place, Hannah Farrell.
Drops to the bottom in 1 and 2, and now in 3 and 4, back to the outside again. Which line's he going to run this time? He goes back to the bottom. Really mixing things up as Jesse Costa in the 52, but it's working quite well for him.
Costa up high, right around that rim. Farnham digging deep on the bottom side as they work off of corner number 4 and across the stripe.
And he was right at the rim in 3 and 4. I mean, almost to where you run out of banking and almost certainly get sucked into the abyss off the end of 3 and 4.
Bailey Hurd pulls off the racetrack. So his night comes to an end as Jesse Costa last time in 1 and 2 went to the bottom, back up the top in 3 and 4. So we're trying some different lines right now.
Laps clicking away. I would say more of this field is working the bottom of the racetrack than working the top, but there's a few of them running nice lines around the high side, but at least Jesse Costa can change things up as he approaches lap traffic. He knows he can work the bottom, he knows he can work the top, and with the amount of heavy traffic ahead of him, he's going to have a couple of options.
Coming to the cross flags momentarily as Jesse Costa crosses the stripe. 10 laps go up on the scoreboard.
10 laps down, 10 laps remain as Jesse Costa enjoys about a 10-car length lead over Matt Farnham as they work down into 3 and 4. Costa right up the outside, Farnham around the bottom of the racetrack. Things about to get heavy in front of the race leader, Jesse Costa.
Costa back up on the top side with Farnham right there. Top 2 have broken away a good distance away from Hannah Farrell. Solid 3rd place run right now. Liam Martin, they're in position 4, and Brad Heron. Top 5 voting for him.
You saw a bit of a rooster tail on the turn number 3 off of Jesse Costa's number 52. That means he got up over the cushion, up into the loose clay. That could have been a bad scene for Costa. Now he'll drive the car in on the middle of the racetrack where there's no grip as he slides up the track. Matt Farnham drives to the inside. Give Matt Farnham the lead.
Farnham in that 7 machine has the top spot, but Costa digs back on the bottom. They're wheel to wheel, and there's no racing room coming out of the corner. How will they all fit? Farnham threads the needle and puts 2 lap cars between he and Costa.
The truth of the matter is they would not all fit. That's a big advantage to Matt Farnham as Jesse Costa's lost a lot of ground. Still plenty of laps left, 6 laps to go, but he's got to regroup. He's got to get around these lap cars and try to mount a challenge on that 7 and wide.
Farnham works off of corner number 4, leading the way over Jesse Costa. 5 laps left to go, says flagman Kyle McKenzie with a big high 5. Costa back there in second, and all the while, the Hurricane, Hannah Farrell's kind of closed gap a little bit. She's not right there yet, but she's doing a nice job with that 3rd place run.
Wow, Costa drove it down the inside, trying to get around Sheridan in the 45. Sheridan closed the door. I mean, Sheridan wouldn't have known he was there, but tense moment for Jesse Costa in that 2nd position.
Lap car is so tough to get around in these feature races, and Jesse Costa is going to have, I'm sure, a few choice words for those lap cars tonight. Like you said, though, they don't know he's there, but either way, I'm still sure it's frustrating for Jesse Costa.
And even a lap car is battling. No matter what you're doing on the racetrack, you're battling for a position with somebody else, so they've got to drive hard, they've got to run their line, but right now, Matt Farnham holding a pretty wheel with 2 laps to go.
Driving that Haddock Racing, number 7 and line leads the way, 1 up high. Alan Downey in corner number 2 gets the car back on track right in front of 2nd place, Jesse Costa. Meanwhile, Liam Martin has been able to scoot by Hannah Farrell into the 3rd spot, put Farrell back to 4th, and Brad Herron still there in 5th.
White flag, Hannah Farrell's got 1 more lap to try to get Liam Martin back and wind up on the podium. That would be a huge score for Farrell as she eases around the outside of Blaine Barrow to the inside of Liam Martin for 3rd.
Off of corner 4, checkers in the air for Matt Farnham. He'll pick up the victory. 2nd will go to Jesse Costa, who will take home 3rd. It looks like it's going to be Liam Martin.
Martin with a great drive taking 3rd. Hannah Farrell, nothing to be ashamed of, finishing 4th. Rounding up the top 5, it's Brad Herron. What a show for the Action Sprint Tour. Matt Farnham with the win, and what a battle between Farnham and Jesse Costa. A couple of drivers working all over the racetrack. Jeffrey, Joel Richardson from Mr. Transmission going to be down there to present some hardware to these drivers, Greg.
Well, fireworks lighting up the sky here at the Big O tonight. The official firework provider of Ohsweken Speedway is
New York State's Matt Farnham. Matt, solid run here tonight. Looked like lap traffic really helped you get to the front.
Yeah, Jesse was fast tonight, and he started on the front row. I started 6th. Everybody here was really good. Track was awesome, and lap traffic, I just think I handled it a little bit better and used it to my advantage. And can't thank everybody enough that helps out with this car. Trey Haddock, Carl, Scott, Buck, my dad, Nick, everybody who came tonight. Composite Fiberworks, Merzak Trucking, just everybody here at Ohsweken putting on a great show.
You got them all, Matt. Congrats.
Thanks.
There's your winner, Matt Farnham, ladies and gentlemen. Guys, solid run for him again. We'll get over and talk to 2nd and 3rd.
with a good run for Matt Farnham, and he's got a pretty good batting average.
The lap cars just couldn't get through them quick enough. Did that cost you this one?
Yeah, I think so a little bit. I seen Matt on the bottom of 1 and 2, so I moved down there, and I thought we were good, and then we got bottled up in the lappers, and sometimes you win one, sometimes you lose one. We lost one this time, but I think DNO Towing, Magnum Signs, Castro Canada, Best Safety Training, Leach Performance for the awesome engine, Welders Millwrights, and Wells Foundry, and Ron Gentello Property and Building Maintenance, my dad, my crew, Steven works his ass off on this thing, and Ohsweken for the awesome facility, and the fans for coming out.
Yeah, Jesse Costa, solid run. Liam Martin, another one of our young guns. Liam, you had solid runs out of the Action Sprint Tour this year. Can you be pleased with tonight's third place run?
I'm very pleased with tonight's run. It was an awesome race by the top three and every driver. But it was a tough race to race tonight. The track was slick, and Matt and Jesse were too far ahead of me for me to figure out 1 and 2, go down low and catch them. But I'd like to thank all my sponsors, my dad, crew, everyone.
Good job, Liam Martin. How about it for our top three tonight, ladies and gentlemen? Matt Farnham gets it done. Jesse Costa and Liam Martin also in the top three for round 7 of the Action Sprint Tour, powered by RaceRivals.com.